Hi, and welcome to the Intro to iPhone Development Screencast series. I'm your host, Ben Sherman. I work for Chai One in Houston, Texas. In this series, you'll learn about the iPhone platform. You'll learn the capabilities of the device, the Cocoa Touch libraries for user interface design, and of course, writing Objective-C to build cool apps. By the end of this series, you'll have all the tools you need to create your own applications. However, today we're going to answer the question, why build iPhone apps in the first place? First, the iPhone is an amazing device. It has plenty of functionality for you to create interactive, entertaining, and innovative apps. Second, there are 40 million devices out there. That's a lot of people. Each one of them is a potential customer. And third, the App Store is a great distribution model that can get your app onto the market and make a little bit of money. The iPhone has a gorgeous display. It has a resolution of 320 by 480 pixels and is covered with touch-sensitive glass. The screen can detect and track 5 distinct touches. This means you can put down 5 fingers on the screen, wiggle them independently, and track them in your application. This gives you lots of opportunities such as pinch and zoom, swipe gestures, and even 5-finger drawing. It also has a great camera that you can tap into. You can take pictures from within your app, draw on the camera display itself, or even select photos from the iPhoto library on the phone.
It looks just like an iPhone, and it's going to launch our application. And voila, we have a plain, flat, gray view. Okay, if we double-click on the button, we can give it some text. And I'm going to resize this label as well, so that we can put a larger message in there. And we can set some properties like the color and the size, and I'll center it here. Application file. Okay, and we're going to write the body of that method. We see down here, build succeeded, and we're ready to run it. Okay, we see our button, and when we tap it, it updates the label.
To do iPhone development, the language you'll be using is Objective-C. So let's take a brief look and see what the language has to offer. Objective-C is based on C, but it has some pretty useful extensions to make it object-oriented, dynamic, and really powerful. But at first glance, it does look a little weird. So the purpose of this video is to show you what Objective-C is and how to read it. So this is how you call methods in Objective-C. You enclose a phrase in square brackets. The argument on the left is your instance, and the argument on the right is the method name. Sometimes you'll hear people say messaging or messages, and those are generally synonymous with method. And the second returns a string, and it's just called name. Now notice there's no get in front of it, and that's just a convention in Objective-C. The setters have set in front of them, but the getters are just the name of the thing that you're going to get. So you could imagine that the code, writing all this code in the header file to define it, and then in the implementation file to fill out implementations would get pretty tedious pretty quickly. So we actually don't want to have to write this stuff by hand. And luckily, there are some helpers in Objective-C that obviate the need to do this, and those are called properties. So in this case, we're creating a property. We're giving it some specifiers for behavior, which I'll talk about in a second, which is an NSString pointer for name. If you recall from the last episode, is the type of file that this manages. In this case, TechPub to do view controller, and that was the view controller we were just writing code in. So what we need to do is we need to set up an outlet from the data source and the delegate for this table view over to our view controller, and that's going to make those connections. So if you recall from last time, we're going to hit Control and we're going to drag over to here, let go, and we're going to assign it to one of these delegates or one of these outlets. So we'll do data source and we'll do delegate.